Well, good morning and good afternoon to our audience. This is the Vivid HPE sponsored webinar, and just to make sure it's the correct one, it is called Cloud Next, the next generation of cloud management software from HPE, and this is part of the Post-Discover London Summit 2017. So welcome. We have two great speakers, and we're going to get into it in a moment. Just checking how to advance the slide. Excuse me. Can somebody advance the slide, please?
All set, Jim.
It's not advancing.
Try refreshing in your browser. There you go.
You're part of the audience. It could be my machine. Can somebody advance?
Yes, we sure did. We're showing the slide with the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise logo.
Okay. Yes, can somebody advance the slide, please?
Sure. We're showing the slide view.
Okay, technical difficulties, I'm very sorry. Mine is not advancing.
You just have to refresh your browser.
I've done that several times.
Okay.
If you could pick up that slide, there we go.
Sure.
Okay, my name's Jim Copio, and I'm from Whitlock Infrastructure Solutions. I reside in the U.S. And cover the Vivid Carolinas League and chapter, and also on the BSM chapter as well. So that's who I am, and I've been in Vivid going back to OVFI days for about 17 years. Yeah, I'm having an advanced problem again.
Okay, we've got you covered.
All right, there we go. All right. Danny Cavione is one of our lead speakers. He's the Director of Cloud and Automation Management, EMEA, and also Kerry Sprinkle, the Senior Product Manager for Helion Cloud Suite at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. And we welcome them both. They're going to hand it back and forth. We do have some housekeeping, actually. So we're going to be able to do some survey questions. I think we're doing 2 of them. So those polls are actually pretty interesting. It gives good feedback for HP and for Vivid, but also it's interesting to see where you stack up with the rest of the audience on these answers that you provide. So we do have those coming as well. At the very end, we're going to have Q&A as well, so you can put your questions in the question panel, and they'll be read towards the end, and we'll try to get to all the questions that we can. And whatever's not attended to, we'll post later for viewing. There is a webinar control panel that you probably see at this point, and that kind of gives instructions on how that works. For those that want to translate in a different language, there is a flag on the left-hand side. I believe it's English at this point, a U.S. flag. You can toggle back and forth to choices for your native language. And then when you type in your questions, they will translate for the presenters. So that's a nice new feature on this program. Next slide. Okay. I'm going to hand it over to Danny for starting on his part of the presentation. Danny, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jim. I think we all feel for you, and in fact, it's interesting because it introduces some of the technological challenges that we all face. If we're having issues with a relatively simple platform like like the one we're using now, let alone what central IT can face in terms of challenges today. So if you're looking at the complexity, for example, that they have to manage and get value from, this is ever so complex. There's a complexity in terms of technology, in terms of a number of tools used, a number of possibilities of delivering services. We've got the cloud stacks. We've got lots of so-called innovation, real innovation, value-driven innovation, and so forth that can probably land on your desk, and you've got to make sense of all of it. You've got many unplanned resources requests. Typically, that could be, I don't know, we need to release an application very quickly. In this application-centric world, this is probably something that you've got to one of the requests you hear many times during the day, or maybe you've got to set up a full test dev environment, but you've got lots of different tools that are managing little bits of the automation required. And so like Silo tool cannot provide you a full end-to-end process, and the result is that work doesn't get done on time. Compliance, we all under, especially on this side of the world, in EMEA, I keep on hearing lots of compliance initiatives driven mainly by the European community or other audit institutions, regulatory institutions, and so forth. So compliance tends to be managed at a very manual level, and it's usually triggered by very firm and precise deadlines. It doesn't get automated. It doesn't get manned or handled as a custom program. So basically, if you want to sum up this slide, is that everything needs to be produced and delivered in a faster way, but obviously for less money. And that's one of the challenges probably some of you guys on the phone are facing nowadays. Now, if I look at the other side of the coin, so looking at the line of business and their challenges, what they need to deliver, to bring applications and services and innovation into production much faster than only a few years ago, they probably see central IT as a problem instead of a solution, as a bottleneck, because typically they cannot keep up with them. Other challenges is that application release is still dealt in a manual way. For some of our customers, that means releasing an application in weeks. And we're going to see an example at the end of this presentation in months, actually. When the line of business, ideally, in a perfect world, they would like to see that in weeks or days. So slow central IT response, what does it result in? Well, it presents a nice little excuse, the line of business, to help themselves. Every time there's a need to have services, they simply probably swipe a card, as you can see the image on this slide, and help themselves with external services, tools. But in results, that means very little governance, control, and a huge problem when it comes again to compliance for example, security purposes. All things that will have to be managed by the central IT anyway. Now, we've run a research through dimensional research that gave us a little bit of insight into the hybrid management challenges that organizations are facing at the moment and the future goals of these organizations. And the lack of an end-to-end visibility for hybrid operations shows up a lot as a key concern, along with the need of maintaining IT compliance and the fact that we keep on managing things manually. So as far as future goals are concerned, it is clear that new technologies and DevOps initiatives are playing an ever more important role in the way companies are planning their future and the way they're organized as well. So For example, 87% of the customers that have been interviewed, they're saying that they're looking at DevOps processes in order to interlock ops with key development initiatives, with key development tasks. 85% have understood that the delivery acceleration is a critical need and that the ops team needs to provide the needed or the necessary information for a much more agile and faster way of delivering and deploying applications. And then finally, 86% of the customers that have been interviewed in this survey are considering containers as a way to replace virtual machines. Primarily, the main driver there is to keep or to lower the hypervisor costs for their organization. So I wonder if maybe you guys are thinking in the same lines. Talking to customers, containers definitely in top of their priority. Maybe they're not using it, but they're looking into it for sure. So here's a major challenge that is being reported by IDC. For the next, by the next 2 years, so by 2019, more than 85% of the enterprise IT organizations will commit to a multi-cloud architecture. 2018, actually, sorry. And this is mainly driven, as I said, by key multi-cloud environment enablers, like, for example, the rise of containers. So virtualization has been fantastic, has been great, but the funding behind it seems to be just too high. So the customers are looking for a different way to achieve a faster time to market, to achieve flexibility, and to achieve cost efficiency. And this is the paradigm behind it is really containers / multi-cloud architecture, it seems. Now, so far, the picture we are depicting is not exactly rosy, but I guess it's a challenge that we are facing right now. The increasing complexity, the pressure we all get from the business, and put ops in the crosshairs or in the corner, as we might even say, because the central IT is viewed as an organization that is slow, that doesn't deliver on time, might be even contributing in some areas to increased business risk due to the pace within maybe the business model that you're working for. There's a lot of unmanaged technology, which is usually defined as shadow IT, and that also contributes to increase elements of risk. So here's our first polling question. So we want to take a break and maybe ask Jim to introduce this question for all of you guys. I'd like to know your comments on this.
Okay.
So Jim, over to you.
Yes. So have you chosen a cloud management platform for your organization? And I think there are 4 choices. If you want to select your choices, and we'll give you the answers momentarily. We'll wait a few seconds.
Thank you very much. So the browser refreshing a little bit. It's cool. I can actually go for a pie chart.
Yeah, the answers are starting to come in. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to refresh a little bit. It's changing it. Okay. So it seems that it is 3.
Okay, we'll give it another 5 seconds.
All right.
Okay, so on the answers for the polling questions, just getting educated is well. Let's do the biggest answer is have made our selection. So that seems to be the number 1 answer. Followed by, in second place, just getting educated. That's very interesting. The two others, there were 0 responses. Those two others were building our shortlist, plan to select in 2018, and have our shortlist, plan to select in 2017. So those are both 0 responses. So we either have people on either end of the spectrum made our selection or just getting educated. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Jim. Actually, it kind of represents the moment we're in. A multi-cloud era is here. It's not the future anymore, and our customers are either looking into it or they're making some interesting choices there. Typically, some of the factors that we consider while looking at a cloud management platform is probably some of the ones you see on the screen now. So we gave some thoughts on what though if we are able to change some of the variables that we mentioned before. So we've got some of the typical requests from our customers. What if you could simplify cloud service compliance and put some automation behind it? What if you could automate platform and application deployment? What if you could provide a centralized self-service user portal so that your internal customers, will still have the freedom of choice, but you've got the control and the governance behind it? What if you could easily, seamlessly integrate this platform with your existing ecosystem? So all of a sudden you've got like a single point of control for the existing ecosystem, fully integrated. What if you could unify a hybrid and multi-cloud management? These are all lots of what-ifs, but we've noticed that central IT operations needs to kind of have this dream if it wants to have an easier life. With all these what-ifs taken into consideration, we would be able to, in that case, effectively manage compliance. We would be able to be seen as a support for the business rather than a bottleneck. We will be able to even embrace new business challenges, new business initiatives. We will be able to be viewed as an organization that is actually contributing to the competitiveness of the business rather than the opposite. We will be able to provide a fully end-to-end orchestration that connects all the different dots, the business units, line of businesses, but also IT and the whole delivery chain within the IT. We will be able to provide a unified management of hybrid and heterogeneous environments. This is because out of the box there will be integrations for common vendors and open source tools. We'll be able to leverage the existing automation, and we wouldn't have to focus on fighting shadow IT because we do actually control the choice that we provide to our line of business, to our internal customers. And maybe in this dream, in this vision, we'll be able to nicely integrate existing platforms, the existing system through open APIs. So here I'm depicting your dream, and probably for those ones that were saying before that you're still gathering information, maybe these are something that you might want to consider as you go, as you make your choice of a multi-cloud management platform. Now, if I look at the requirements from the other side of the spectrum, again, from a line of business point of view, their requirements is an agile platform that can help deliver and deploy applications that can have provide them with no limitations in terms of technology, so the flexibility of choosing the right tool for them. Today, that could be containers. Tomorrow, could be microservices. The following day could be something else. But we're not really constrained on the technology. Rather, the only constraint is really delivering services on time with the right quality. And again, they don't want to have a vendor lock-in. They don't want to only use one single platform for delivering their services. They want to have freedom of choosing whatever makes sense for them, for that application, for the specific moment in time they're in, and the flexibility of choosing the services from a fully unified catalog. So this is interesting because we're looking at the challenges from probably our point of view if we belong to central IT, but also from a line of business point of view. And this is why we're introducing Hybrid Cloud Management Suite, which is a brand new software suite that enables our customer to deliver and manage any application across any environment, any cloud, and any technology. So it combines a series of very mature cloud management and orchestration platforms, different technologies that they've been leader in the market for a number of years actually, with advanced functionalities such as, for example, cloud analytics and capacity planning and showback, the possibility of delivering anything as a service, the possibility of fully automating the application release cycle and continuous delivery process as well. The fully enterprise-grade self-service catalog, which is available across the various devices, and an automated service-based compliance platform as well. So this enables you as customers to design, to deliver, to manage the IT services across multi-vendor traditional IT, across private cloud, public cloud, and really manage cloud environments to maximize your efficiency without any specific vendor locking, because it gives you this hybrid freedom, let's say, to move from one platform to another. And I like the way this slide is being phrased. Now, cloud freedom. So we provide freedom. Cloud freedom coupled with technology freedom, and return means business freedom. And we do that through three simple use cases. A hybrid cloud orchestration that can help you provision, configure, manage hybrid cloud environments regarding of the kind of environments we're talking about, providing comprehensive IT process orchestration and the possibility of reporting and making some analysis on the way your cloud platform is used. And then application release observation. Again, here, again, the visibility of the pipeline with automated stage gates, providing an accelerated support for development processes, and finally, really providing your line of business with what they need, which is continuous delivery, being able to meet those deadlines that come from the line of business when they need, not because they fancy, but because they really need, from a business point of view, to release an application. Becoming a broker to the IT, so being able to provide service level and cloud compliance automation, having a user-focused catalog ready for your customers, and so forth. So these are the use cases that we are providing our customers to achieve this freedom we've been mentioning. Okay, now I'd like to invite Carrie to dig into some of the advantages that this platform can provide you with. That's Carrie's.
Carrie, we can't hear you. Are you muted? Okay.
Can you hear me?
There you are, Carrie. Wonderful.
Okay.
There you are. Brilliant. Okay.
Somehow I had multiple mutes on. I muted my phone, but somehow I got muted in the room as well. So that, anyway, more technical difficulties, yay. So as I was saying to myself, Danny laid out, the three key use cases that we're supporting with hybrid cloud management. And with this suite, I'll start with the first use case, which is hybrid cloud orchestration. We'll talk about some of the key functionality that supports that use case, starting with your basic cloud management, right? You've got to have a cloud management platform to handle all of the different types of resources, everything from, hybrid cloud, from public cloud to private cloud, multiple public clouds in most cases, in most enterprise environments. And so we start with that basic cloud management platform. And our cloud management platform is, the basis of this suite is the cloud service automation that's been around, for many years. And so it's proven cloud management technology at the enterprise level with support for pretty much any cloud that you need to manage, right? So whether it's private, public, hybrid, name a public, we've got a lot of the out-of-box integrations already created for those. And with this release, one of the things we've introduced is this nice customizable dashboard that when you open up the suite, this is where you land. And then from here, on the left pane, you can see you navigate through to the various functions that you need to accomplish. So what does this mean to you when we're talking about any cloud, right? The ability to actually master any cloud and do this relatively simply compared to some of the other platforms. We give you the ability to design the services for any cloud, any environment, any technology. We talked about containers before, right? Whatever you need to dole out as a service, we are able to allow you to incorporate that into your design. And when you design it once, you publish it in the cloud, and then your users can just pick up the services that they need. And we try to simplify that process, both for the administrator as well as the user. And we simplify that by allowing you to design that service once and then deploy it anywhere. And the idea here is that we've got very cloud-agnostic designs, almost technology-agnostic, right? So if I design, I'll use the example of a database. I know we can't read the design that we're looking at, but let's assume this is some kind of database or a multi-level service. If I want to design a database as a service, I can specify what I need, but I don't have to specify in my design exactly where it's going to go. Once my user goes in and subscribes to that, at that time, at deployment time, it can be determined, is that going to go to Amazon? Is it going to go to an internal VM? Is it going to go to Azure, right? So wherever it's going to end up running, I can design that service one time, and then that same service can be deployed in multiple locations. So we, again, trying to simplify the functionality and trying to simplify the way that we manage these different things. We do support microservices within our designs as well as containers, right? So we can actually deploy services and manage those services within a containerized environment. We can manage those as microservices so that if you have a part of your design that you want to be able to grow as part of let's say I've got a web service, and that web service I want to be able to extend that when things get very busy. So that part of the design, we can create that as a microservice so that can be I can't think of the word that I want. But as things get busy, you actually want to spin up more web servers. So we can set that up so that can be accomplished as part of the service. The next one is, again, making container adoption easy. You know, Danny mentioned that 85% of enterprise organizations are either using or planning to use, and they may not have actually implemented yet, but they're probably doing some testing, checking into how the containers can help them. And so we have already brought that in so that you can incorporate that within your designs. We do support multiple vendors. You know, all of the big container vendors we support. And again, the scale out, that was the phrase I was looking for on the previous slide, the ability to scale out to those multiple vendors. And just like with the cloud, right, we can actually have a service span multiple clouds. We can have a service span multiple container vendors. So if you've got part of your service running on Docker, you've got another part running on you know, Kubernetes, whatever. Again, our goal is to make sure that we support all of the components and all of the pieces that you need. We seem to have jumped ahead a little bit. I'm going to back up. We're talking about containers. And again, a lot of times this container, people are implementing the containers to be able to easily do that scaling out that I talked about on the previous slide. So being able to quickly, you know, spin up a couple of web service containers to handle some extra traffic, or bring those back down, right, once the traffic is subsided. So again, the whole idea here is to make it easier for both central IT and the end users to do the things that they need to do. Now, we do, again, with the idea of simplifying your design, simplifying your catalog, we offer this concept of service variations, attribute-based cloud portal. So we know that one size does not fit all. Not only does one size not fit all for our customers, but for IT's end users, right? You've got different groups, different teams are going to need different things. The idea here is, again, kind of like I can create this one service design and then that can be deployed anywhere. We can actually take that a step further, right? And I can create a service design, or I can create a service offering in my catalog that gives several options, right? So I could say, here, I need to keep it simple, I'll go with a VM, right? I need to order up a VM, and I don't have to have an entry for Red Hat and an entry for Windows and an entry for SUSE, right? I can have one entry that says I need to order a simple VM, and within that service design, they can make their selections. So again, this is the idea of simplifying. So instead of 100 variations on a VM, I can offer maybe one or two variations. Here's a database on a VM. Here's just a plain VM. Here's a web server on a VM. And then within that design, within that catalog offering, that one catalog offering, they can select that and then make their choices of what they need. So again, this is all around simplification and being able to simplify the catalog for the end user. Moving on, one of the key things that's required for any enterprise cloud management platform is an orchestrator. And we actually call this, when we talk about the use case, we call this use case hybrid cloud orchestration, because that's really what it's about. It's about orchestrating all of the things that are around the cloud, right? Anybody can take an Amazon offering and put it into a catalog. How do you go beyond that and do something that's meaningful to the enterprise? So we actually have a proven orchestrator of orchestrators. Our orchestration engine has been around longer than our cloud management offering, and is considered one of the standards in the industry. So the native integration capabilities that come with this, with all of the out-of-box content from workflows to different operations that you can put into workflows, and the various integrations, completely open APIs that allow you to tie to things that maybe the next time a new cloud comes out, right? Somebody's going to have to support that. So being able to integrate quickly with new technologies as they arise, all of that is part of this. And the key or the thing to remember about orchestration is that it's not just orchestrating those use cases that we talked about, right? So, our platform, our hybrid cloud management can help you address those three key use cases on the left: hybrid and multi-cloud orchestration, application release automation, and continuous delivery, and be able to be a cloud broker and to broker compliant services. But the real key here is the ability to tie those into your existing ecosystem, right? So, yeah, you've got public clouds that you need to manage. You've got containers you need to manage. You might even have some other orchestrators that are already out there. How do you tie all that together and tie that into your monitoring, your analytics? How do you bring that into your existing infrastructure automation? You may have, we love those that have our infrastructure automation, but not everyone does. If you've got Chef, if you've got Puppet, if you've got other automation tools that are doing that infrastructure automation, how do you bring all of that together? And that's what the orchestration is about, right? So proper enterprise-grade architecture that allows you to do this, worldwide on large-scale environments, and a proven orchestration engine that has been around for decade, maybe not quite decades, but over a decade. So it's out there, it's proven, being used by lots of enterprise customers. We did introduce a new graphical interface this time. We now have, those of you who are familiar with the orchestration tool will be very happy to hear that we now have a web-based studio. So we now have a designer that's actually in the web. You access that. It doesn't require a separate installation. We do still have the same graphical drag and drop way of building your workflows, the same thing that we've had before, and the same, huge library, over 6,000 different operations, workflows, sample content, all of that kind of thing. And with this one, we also introduced the ability to use YAML, right? So, yes, you can use our wonderful graphical designer, but now you can share this easily with your developers who might want to use YAML to create their designs. And so we've really made some true advances. The orchestration tool may be tried and true, and it's been around for a while, but we're continuing to evolve and develop that to make it as useful as it was in the beginning. And so this is one of my favorite quotes, I think, as a product. As a person representing a product, this is one of the best things you can hope for, right? So in Gartner's market guide last year for IT process automation, which is where they compare all the different orchestration tools, this was one of the statements they made about HPE operations orchestration, which is the engine underneath our cloud management platform. And they said, OO is often the standard against which other ITPA products are actually compared. So we have been considered the standard in the marketplace for quite some time. So if you're looking for an orchestration engine, you kind of want the one that everybody else is compared against. So we're very, very happy that we can offer that to our customers. So now moving on, I'm moving into kind of the next use case around application automation. I'm excited about orchestration. Application automation, application release, and continuous delivery. So one of the things that we include in our hybrid cloud management suite is the application release components. And again, this is built on top of our basic cloud management platform that we've been offering. The So the ability to actually have a DevOps-ready software factory, and again, one of the new features that we introduced, actually in the release that came out a few months ago. I can't remember if it was July or August, but was the ability to have these automated stage gates. So within this, and I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide, but within this application release automation functionality, we give you the ability to leverage your existing orchestration workflows, so you can leverage that content. Another new feature in this release is that we're very excited about is design-free deployments for very simple applications. And when we say design-free, that means, we've been talking about service designs and workflow designs. The fact that you don't actually have to go in and design that, even better, right? Now, again, very simple. This is only for your simple applications, but the ability to be able to go in and do this kind of design-free deployment when you're doing development and testing is very very nice for those teams. And then that all gives you the ability to perform continuous testing directly from your pipeline. So let me talk a little bit about that pipeline. The idea here, the idea with the application release automation component is the ability to actually get some visibility into your pipeline, see what build is where, what release is where, and do this throughout the various stages. So you can see we've got multiple stages here, and again, you probably can't read this. I happen to know what they say. So we've got a development environment, testing environment. Each one of these boxes is a different environment going all the way through to production. You can customize those different stages. So, you may have some applications you only need 3 stages for. We're pushing this one out quickly. You may have others that you do more testing for, so you want more stages. We've got 5 stages here, and that's fine. The other really cool thing about this, again, I'm going to go back to the stage gates. So at each one of these, as you move from development to testing, from testing to staging, from staging to production, as that build moves through those stages, we have the ability to perform what we call release gate actions or stage gate actions. And again, new feature in this release, we had the ability to do a number of things as those stage gate actions, whether it's but you had to create like maybe a workflow or something that we could latch on to, if you will, right? There had to be a component out there of something that you wanted us to do. With this release, you can now run any script as a release gate action. So this really opens it up to be able to do anything along those stage gates or along any action as you move through this process, right? So this is what truly enables continuous delivery. So as I move through, I can get through, I move from development to testing. As soon as it moves into the testing environment, we deploy it, we run the tests, we get the results, the test pass, great, it moves to the next one automatically. And so we can push it through there automatically, and that's what gives you the continuous delivery. The ability to provide anything as a service. So another part of this, another part of the hybrid cloud management suite is for those of you who are familiar with the products, we've got some database and middleware content in here that allows you to do, so it gives you out-of-the-box templates, if you will, for database and middleware components. So you can include all of that into your service design. And that means being able to deploy and configure databases and middleware pieces. You include that in your service design, so it gives you, you don't have to go out and create the database components yourself or the middleware components yourself. And this really enables not just database as a service or a platform as a service, but this really takes it to that next level and lets you to be able to pretty quickly with the out-of-the-box content deliver almost anything as a service, right? So really be able to provide what any type of service that your development and testing teams might need. And now I'm going to get to the next one, and we we have actually now included. Oh, I forgot to fix this slide. I don't know why the slide shows up oddly. If you look at the thumbnail, it looks correct, but if you actually look at the slide, I don't know why the two screens are in an odd place. But at any rate, fortunately, I'm very familiar with the compliance content, as I've been part of that team for quite some time. And one of the pieces that we have included in the Hybrid Cloud Management Suite that I'm very excited about is service level compliance automation. So this goes above and beyond the compliance that we've done in the past for, what I'll call silos, right? So we've always had server compliance and network compliance and database compliance, and they were separate tools and separate things. This is now looking at this from a whole different level and looking at, we call it service level compliance. And the idea here is that I can actually go in, and as I create my service design, I can attach a compliance policy to that, right? I can attach a PCI policy or whatever needs to be attached to that particular service. And so when that service gets deployed, it already has been identified exactly what compliance requirements it has to meet. And we start out of the gate. When the service is deployed, we start with the automated, excuse me, with the automated checks and remediation as required. Now, remediation sometimes scares people. Oh, no, you can't remediate my service. We do it during Windows, right? So as you configure, you basically go in, you select the policies. You've got, again, out-of-the-box content, so you could select the policies that you want to apply. You select the windows, the maintenance windows, right? So and you can select it both for the compliance checks as well as the remediation, so we're not doing any of this during your busy times. And then it gets attached so that, yes, that process is completely automated for that service, and I can gather information. What you're seeing in that box with the orange bar, that is the compliance score for an app for a service. It's an online web store is the example that we're using there, right? And so that particular web service is 75% compliant. And if I look down below, I see some boxes underneath that. I can see exactly which component of that is out of compliance. Now, again, it's probably a little too blurry to read, but I've seen that screenshot before. And the red box is one server within all of the components that make up that service. So I can see that's the one thing, that's the one part of that service that is not compliant, and I can go in and make it compliant. So really the idea here is that you set it up, you set it and forget it. You set up what you need. Here's my compliance policy. Here's the services that I want to apply that policy to. And here's the maintenance windows that I allow. And then you forget it. We do the rest, right? The compliance automation comes in and it goes through, it determines which rules to run, which compliance checks to run against which resources at what time, right? So it knows what it's supposed to do. It goes out, it does it, and then it just reports back to you, right? Here's your current status of any of your services. So the goal was to take that compliance, what we look at as compliance projects, right? It's always a project. Oh, we have an audit coming up. We've got to get our compliance information in order. Okay, it's the second quarter. We've got to do our quarterly compliance or monthly compliance, whatever it is for your organization. And it's always an exercise, right? A fairly manual exercise of going and gathering all the information from all the different teams. Okay, I need the database team to give me this. I need the server team to give me this. The goal was to take that and turn it into an ongoing automated process as opposed to monthly or a quarterly or an annual process. So that's where compliance comes in. And this, if you're going to be brokering cloud services, you need to be brokering services that people trust, that people know are compliant, that they know are meeting the right both regulatory compliances as well as internal. Right, so that's where compliance comes into the hybrid cloud management offering. So basically, we've pulled all of these things together. We've got, for your first use case, hybrid cloud orchestration, right? We've got some key functionality there. We've got, our hybrid heterogeneous multi-cloud management platform with end-to-end orchestration, and all of that has full native container and microservice support. So we're supporting all the new technologies that are coming into play. Then we get into the application release automation, and for that you can do your typical application release automation process, or you can take it a step further, really moving toward DevOps with continuous delivery and being able to provide anything as a service. And then finally you get into your full-blown brokering, where you need to be able to broker those compliant services. So with this one solution, you get really three very broad use cases that you're able to then, offer what the business needs when it needs it. And with that, I am going to, we'll put up another polling question. So, Jim?
Thank you, Carrie. Excellent, excellent. So this is our second and last polling question. Bear with me. Okay. If we consider our three use cases as a maturity model, where would you place your organization? And there's four answers you could possibly give. The first one, we are just getting started. Second, we have multiple cloud managements for IaaS. Third one, we have automated application releases for continuous delivery. And the last one, we offer fully compliant cloud service brokering. So those are the four opportunities. So go ahead, audience, please put your answers in, and we'll read them shortly. Give everybody a little bit of time.
It's interesting to compare this. We did these polls in another Vivid session for the Americas last week, and it's interesting to see the difference between the two. And it's something. It actually kind of feeds back to what we know of our customers, right? I hate to say this because there's probably some people from the Americas listening, but when you talk to the customers in Europe and UK and the European mainland, we tend to see them be a little ahead of the Americas as far as adoption for some of these newer technologies and some of these more advanced use cases.
Okay,
just a little. Awesome. I'm not based in the U.S. I'm an American.
Okay, I'll do a final refresh. It looks like we have some good answers coming in. And number one answer is we are just getting started. Number two answer is we have multi-cloud managements for IaaS. And the third one is, with one answer, is we have fully compliant cloud service brokering. So I don't know if that's unusual answers or in line with the previous polling you did.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely in line. We do find that most, are kind of just getting started, and when, this is kind of an advanced version of the previous question, right? Some people, in the previous one, a lot of people had selected their tool, but now we're asking, where are you with that, right? So it sounds like a lot of them, maybe they've made their selection, but they're just now getting into that. Although I would like to talk to whoever is actually offering the fully compliant cloud service brokering. We always like to hear the stories of those people who are, who are very ahead of the curve, on the edge, if you were. So.
Awesome.
And congratulations to whoever has accomplished that. We know what a challenge that is. Great. Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And with that, I will pass it back to Danny.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm a little bit aware of the time. I think we're going to move on quickly to some of the customers' results that we've been able to see. So I'm going to start with maybe a summary from IDC. So IDC has launched a survey among various HPE customers, specifically using account management application, and these are some of the results that on average they experienced. They still experience, we hope. 89% less time to meet IP requests, so resource requests. 95% less time to satisfy development resource requests, and 59% of improvement in productivity for service fulfillment teams. So these are average results. We're going to look at one customer in EMEA, Comline, probably it's called Comline actually, in Germany. I had the pleasure of interviewing them actually last year, if I'm not wrong. They are a service provider, providing services to various small companies, primarily in Germany. These are some of the good results that they've been able to achieve in their with HPE HCM. You can also look at the full story on our website, and I believe there should still be the video we've recorded. But pretty much these three pieces of data sum up their experience: 80% reduction in service delivery times. Their employees have been able to increase their productivity by up to 80%, and they had a return on investment in less than a year. So it's really good results from service provider in our continent. Moving on to a customer that decides to remain unnamed. He is a global retail customer that had to deal with lots of manual steps in the way they were deploying their applications. They were experiencing poor quality as well in the way they were delivering the processes, and it was taking far too long to deliver services to customers. So now they're able to release their application in 20 minutes. Now, at the beginning of this presentation, I mentioned that some of our customers are currently doing it in weeks, if not months. Well, in their case, it used to take them 3 months to actually deliver and release an application. So massive improvement there. The time to deploy those applications decreased from 5 hours to 3 minutes. Actually, the full deployment is not just a preparation like before. And initial release success jumps up to 100% from 0%. So again, huge results here. That's an internal case study with Enterprise Services. The challenge there was for them to help their customer that require different cloud and internal IT resources as well. There was a lot of manual activity in order to deliver these resources. Many customers had similar but not exactly identical services. So how do we manage the whole thing? What do we create? We create specific environments for each customer. Well, in their case, they've been able to create one single master portal with different many environments, and they were able to satisfy in a meaningful way, and then with the right quality and time as well, the requests from our customers. So I believe I should have an extra 5 minutes, hopefully, for some Q&As. But this is in summary what we are helping our customer to achieve with our hybrid cloud management solution: dramatically improve IT speed and responsiveness, we're able to provide them with the unified hybrid cloud management platform. If you look at the 3 use cases that Kerry nicely described before, we're helping our customer to accelerate application delivery. They are able in return to achieve flexibility, to provide ease of use to their customers as well, and to manage cloud compliance. I believe these are the 3 use cases so that we've discussed today. They are included in our suite: hybrid cloud orchestration, application release automation, and then finally broker compliant services. And this is really the possibility of getting our customers to become masters of any cloud, regardless of where your services sit. You will be able to handle that service, the platform, orchestrate that environment in a fully integrated way with your existing ecosystem, being able to manage the compliance from a service level, and automating all the different stages so that you can actually provide continuous delivery. And finally, I think we're still able to download for free a entitled Embracing Digital Transformation. I got the feeling from my previous webinar, it's about $30 on Amazon, I've heard. So for our customers, if you're interested to get to know a little bit more about the digital transformation process that many of you are already looking at or embracing at the moment, you can download this book. And I think with that, I would like to thank you, and then we can move on to a very quick Q&A session.
Yes, I know.
Hey,
Go ahead.
No, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're a tad past the time for this webinar, so we're going to kind of truncate the questions, maybe cover one, and they will be posted. So when you go back to the Vivid website later, you can certainly retrieve this whole slide deck, the presentation, and the question. So let's grab one question, and that is, are the HPE Cloud software products also being merged with Micro Focus? Who wants to take that?
Yeah, I can take it. Very good question. I think it's an important question, and I guess most of you on the phone knows that we are about to be merged with Micro Focus this year. So the whole software business is involved in this spin merge process, and that includes HPE Cloud or current cloud solutions. So HCM, the suite that's been described here, will be a core part of this new company and the products we will be positioning. If you think about the development of this suite, it's the latest version is literally just been released. So not only it will be part of it, but there's still an ongoing investment with a clear roadmap. But yeah, I think it's a very valuable and good question. Thank you very much for that.
No problem. Kerry, you want to add anything at all?
No, I think Danny covered it pretty well. I will say that again, when we've heard people talk about investment and what it's going to mean when we separate. HPE will continue to OEM the software from us for some of the we had some combined offerings, and they'll be continuing to offer those. So I think that speaks highly of the fact that we're definitely continuing this. As we move forward and separate from the HPE parent company.
Thank you. I know we're 4 minutes past time. Wanted to bring up some key points. There's a save to date slide in front of you, and that's basically the EMEA Software Customer Forum of 2017. It is in Dublin. I see the date is May 16 through 19. And these are generally customers speaking and customer presentations, and obviously a chance to network. These are very successful events, so hopefully you can save the date, and there's a link to get into the agenda and get more details if you wish. So that's one noteworthy item I wanted to point out. Okay. And the next slide. Okay, there's a short survey opportunity here. If you want to just take this real quick, it takes like 10 seconds. And we'd love your input. So just click on the link when you have a moment. Okay, would you like to hear more about product updates and events news from HPE, yes or no? Okay, thank you. And with that, also, Kerry, is there a document for everybody to grab for download files on this particular presentation? Or Danny?
I see that there is a PDF there. Is that if one of the Vivid folks can let me know in the chat, maybe?
Yes,
that's the right one.
It's for more information on the EMEA customer forum. So it's there now for them to download. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to download the slides for this, they'll be available with the recording.
Correct. So I'd like to thank our presenters, Danny and Curry, and the Vivid moderators. This was a very interesting topic. It's getting a lot of press, and we hope to see you at a future Vivid webinar with HPE. So with that, we're going to conclude and wish everybody a great day. Okay? All right. Take care.